We are two Nosy Meerkats, and we're talking about which cheese you'd want to sleep in.
Yeah. Listeners, write in with your submissions. Which cheese of all the cheeses do you think would make the best bedspread? Would it be brie? Would it be a powdered parmesan? What?
Those are your only two options: brie or powdered.
Those are the two genders. That's all you're allowed. That's
Those are the two genders. Brie is transitioning into powdered parmesan. It's great. We have a guest on today, amazing comedian Divya Gruner-Sakran. Divya, what cheese would you choose to sleep in?
So I was saying brie because I think the operative word here is spread. You want something that's spreadable, right? But Lucas, to your point, I feel like a good, like maybe blue cheese, like a crumbly cheese could also work.
Well, the thing is, I feel like that would ruin the texture and the level of the bed, because I feel like that would at some point get under you, it would get lumpy. You don't want that. You want something smooth.
You want to sleep in blue cheese? Isn't that the smelliest of all the cheeses?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you'll have to shower after your sleep.
Well, I guess you generally have to shower every day, so what does it matter?
Also,
you might what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I guess I also wasn't thinking of like a ton of cheese. Lucas, you sound like your bed's going to have layers of cheese.
I was imagining that I was shrunk to the size of like a Lego man, and I was just surrounded by what is normal cheese, but would be gigantic and bed-sized for me. You know?
See, I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking human, regular-sized me, but the cheese surrounding me is like as massive as a regular bed.
Interesting. I guess I was still thinking of having regular bedding and just putting cheese in it because sometimes I eat cheese in bed.
Fair enough.
You know. And then it just kind of falls around you and becomes part of your bed.
Yeah.
What are your other bedtime snacks?
I've recently been having more healthy bedtime snacks. So I've been having
Gwyneth Paltrow. Please. I was gonna say Gwen Stefani, and I was like, that's not right.
It would be a more favorable comparison. I've been having yogurt and honey.
Ooh.
It's very good, yeah.
That's like, very fancy.
Like a little yogurt.
But it's not fancy. It's like
it sounds nice. Also, I did just
think like plain yogurt.
I did also just think a bag of shredded cheese as a sleeping bag. Like that.
Okay, that'd be kind of nice.
That's not bad. But yeah.
And then you just like eat out of it as you're sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just in plastic by the morning and you're like, oh, I ate my bed.
Bury me in a bag of shredded cheese when I go. I'll tell you that much. Today on Twitter, I saw there's a bookshelf that you can transform into a coffin, and the listing for it was like a Craigslist listing, like transform your bookshelf into a coffin. But it said the wording was funny. It was like transform it as needed. It's like, I don't think there's many scenarios where that would be needed.
When you feel like dying, get ready.
That's like when companies in the job listing put like other projects ad hoc. It's like you could kill yourself ad hoc or kill someone else ad hoc and put them in this coffin.
No more use for that pesky bookshelf. We'll just die and bury yourself in a coffin now.
Oh, sounds so relaxing.
So, I'm so curious about that use case.
Wait, so Divya, this is a little bit dark, but if you want to be buried, you have to be buried, how would you like to be buried? Is there anything special you would want with your burial?
I have actually thought about this, and my ideal scenario here would to not be buried at all. I would love to die at sea by shark attack. Ooh. And then just because I love sharks, so that would just be delightful to, I think, to be attacked by one.
I'd love to give your body over for that nourishment. Just
and you know what? As you should,
and then have my body be lost at sea.
That's really, really pleasant. That's some Captain.
Right, and then I think the funeral could be like a destination funeral, and it would just be like a ceremony out at sea, and people could have fun on a boat. You know?
Oh yeah, there could be a water slide in the shark-infested water.
Yeah,
where all your friends
join
can join
Divya.
You. Join the funeral that's also a mass suicide. Miss your friend, join her. Beat him, join him.
If you're really torn up about me, you will be physically torn up about me.
The sharks are compassionate. They know what you're going through. They grieve. Sharks are really
I mean, they're
cool.
not. Sharks are not malicious. So
No, they're not. I even saw a diver petting one that it'd like to be pet, and I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, most shark species are not. I wrote a paper on this in 3rd grade that I still remember. Most shark species are not malicious. And you're more likely to die of a toaster that breaks than a shark attack.
Well, yeah, that's because
sad.
that's because toasters stay in your home, whereas sharks don't typically live at home.
That's because there's no toasters at sea yet.
Yeah.
Until
One
they get
day.
their rights. We
Just
are
keep
about
lobbying for
toasters'
Congress.
rights.
Toaster rights, cheese rights,
All of the
we're
rights.
covering it all.
This podcast is multifaceted. That actually reminds me, when I was in like 6th grade, I wrote another really ridiculous paper. You had to do a research project, and I wrote mine about how Quiznos is better than Subway sandwiches. Which
wow.
I really ate my words on that now because I'm a huge fan of Subway now. But the only person I talked to for the story was like the owner of the Quiznos across the street from me.
That's
So
pretty good.
Totally biased, like not a good research paper. Did you ever like get really into a subject as a young person and like write something really like in depth about it?
Hold on, I still want to know what class this was that allowed you to write this paper.
Oh yeah.
English. You know?
Okay.
We have
so
to.
it wasn't so much the content. It was that you
could
built up an argument, that you cited your sources, that you just made the thing and you exercised English.
Sure,
or that you could just write in full sentences.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's so funny to me. This is how I know gifted programs are like a sham. It's like I was considered a gifted child, and that's what I wrote my paper on. That Quiznos, which was an opinion that turned out to be wrong, because Quiznos I don't think is better than Subway. I don't know if you guys disagree.
Yeah, it was also when you said I'm a huge fan of Subway now, I felt such an urge to say I preferred the book. I don't know why.
The adaptation, not as strong on film.
Yeah.
Right.
but yeah, Divya, was there any like a weird subject you found that led into another question I have later? But yeah, odd subjects as a kid.
Odd subjects as a kid. I mean, I remember in middle school, we were learning about drugs, and then we had to like research and write a paper about drugs. So I think I wrote about opium, which is a fascinating drug.
It is.
Yeah, and just the history of it. Like there were opium wars, like the culture around it, opium dens, and then obviously there's lots of drugs that are derivatives of opium.
So derivative of everything nowadays. You can't get an original drug anywhere.
Heroin is so hack. My gosh.
I'm pretty sure that there was a point where there was a war between China and the UK, and that the UK was supplying opium to China, and China didn't want this anymore. And China was supplying rhubarb to the UK, and rhubarb was a bit of a laxative. And so they sent a letter to the Queen saying, hey,
don't shit yourself on this rhubarb.
Wait, what did you say, Gabby? Say that again?
Sorry, I was laughing at myself. Don't shit yourself on this rhubarb, Queen.
Queen?
Was that what the letter said?
It's not far off. They said, hey, if you don't stop supplying opium to China, we will cut off our shipments of rhubarb to the UK, killing everyone through mass constipation.
Is that real?
Well, no. I don't know if it's real, but
Lucas is like, I made it all up. I'm
no,
a comedian on a podcast. You have to stand out. You have to stand out.
The letter was never translated, so they just kept on going with the war, and so that's that's just British. Fucking British.
Oh my god! Imagine seeing like that letter, seeing that letter, and being like, it's probably not important.
It's just an empire we do business with. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
From the Emperor of China. No, I'm not gonna read that. It's not important.
But I love the idea. But Divya, I love the idea of like a family friend coming up to you and say, "Oh, what are you interested in?" You're just like, "Drugs."
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like,
it was just, I think like the idea, I think the class was like, don't do drugs, but it was like, but they're so interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Were you a morbid child?
Yes. I was a very morbid, very angsty child.
Can I just say I totally see it in you? Like, but I don't know if it's like My Chemical Romance morbid or like here's facts about the world that a child shouldn't know morbid. Or both.
I'm getting facts more with Divya.
It's both, but a better band than My Chemical Romance. Thank you.
Well, how can that be? What, Fall Out Boy?
Oh my God, Gabby.
What? What do you think? Did I just age you or something? Like, Fall Out Boy was my era.
No, it's not an age thing. Oh, I guess I'm just like throwing shade on these bands. Yeah.
Yeah, whoa.
Wait, what was your band? What was your band?
Be careful because they're listeners. Yeah, what was your band?
Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot your age demographic here. I mean, I liked a lot of bands. I liked Thrice, Brand New. I also liked older, but like I love the Pixies, Nirvana.
Classic, yeah.
A lot of British bands, Block Party. So yeah.
What about like? Oh, wait, go on.
No, go. I want to hear.
Blink 182. Blink 182.
I mean, they're not an emo band. I like them because it's like fun and silly. Yeah. A lot of their songs. Although, if you've heard Adam's song, that's a very sad song.
I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't tell you the name of a single Blink 182 band song. I couldn't. If you told me, I couldn't say anything.
What about
Gabby? Sing a song. Yeah.
Oh, that one. I know that one. I didn't know that was them.
Or like, what's my age again? What's my age again?
Oh, I don't know. Here's the thing. When I was in high school, I had a bunch of friends ask me like, "Lucas, do you know any of these?" I was like, "No." And then they played the song. I was like, "Oh, I know that one." Like with Hilary Duff, they played it. And then after, I was like, "Oh, I know all of these songs." So this is just an ongoing thing for me.
Yeah, they stick in your brain. I get it. There's always a person who like you're a kid and they teach you like different cultural things about the world. Like I had a babysitter who asked me what kind of music I liked. You know, I used to listen to music my dad told me to listen to, like Audio Slave, Linkin Park. He was into the emo, like I guess it's not emo, it would be called like new rock, but he was as into that as I was. And she was like, "Do you know any other music like in pop right now?" And I was like, "Nope." And she took me to a computer, took me to the AOL Explore page, and looked up 50 Cent singing in the club, Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love, and Kellis Milkshake.
Wow.
Like, that was the day my life changed.
That's a lot of stimulus for one kid at one day.
Could you imagine, like, me? I was, like, really too young, and I was just...
How old were you? Say it again.
Oh, gosh. I must have been, like, 10 or something, listening to Kellis's Milkshake, and I really... I liked it, but I really did just think it was about a milkshake. And I was like, why are the boys in the yard for this?
I still don't understand why the boys are in the yard.
It still doesn't really make sense. Even when you watch the music video, you're like, this is still very ambiguous. It really is.
It's her butt, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, it's a yard metaphor. I guess just her area. I don't know.
I think most people would guess it's like titties. That's what most people guess.
Because it's her milkshake.
Yes.
Oh.
I suppose.
We don't know.
Even Albert Einstein can't figure it out from the grave.
And he's been trying.
Like as kids, we, especially even now, probably more so, but like you listen to songs and content that are so much more mature than you should really be listening to. I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of, and you like get it, but you don't like fully get it.
Oh, yeah. I was a dumb child. I was very dumb. I remember, did you guys ever see the movie Shanghai Nights? It's Owen Wilson, it's Jackie Chan. It's a very fun movie. And there is a point where Owen Wilson says to a woman, you have an amazing body. And I just remember thinking, how could I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that he was attracted to her. I didn't get that he was trying to hit on her. I just thought, how could someone's body be amazing? It just made no sense.
Lucas.
I was like, if it works, it works. But
I love how your example is like zero innuendos. Like
I had no.
He just cut straight to the point. He was like, "I'm attracted to you," and young Lucas was like, "What's this mean?"
They have opposite magnetic fields.
It sounds like her organs work.
As a child, I was Ben Shapiro. That's who I was. I had no.
By your logic, Lucas, Owen Wilson.
Hypothetically, if I were to say that your body was attractive, would you say that?
Oh, just kidding. Unless. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like right now is a moment where we're like reckoning with the stuff that we got told in like the early 2000s and 90s in like a new way. Because, you know, with the Britney doc coming out, like, I feel like our culture when we were growing up, we're all around the same age here, was so, I feel like I internalized so many weird messages. Like, I thought if you like dressed in a like a kind of sexy outfit, that you were like a bimbo, like you were an idiot when I was like 13, because that's what I got told. And then I grew up and I was like, I want to dress like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I think we all internalized misogyny. Like that's a big part of our culture.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess that's what we're talking about here. It's like internalizing so much misogyny. My God.
Are you guys on board with the idea that like Britney is actually like being very, very heavily controlled, and it's not her in charge of her own social media, and that's why you see like a lot of videos wearing like the same outfits, that it's weird. I don't know.
I think she's in charge of her social media, but it's kind of like she can't post certain things without approval.
That makes me so sad. It's so 1984 like, but for just
so
one person.
2003 like is what it is. It's the George Orwell sequel, 2003.
Which also got rebooted in 2016.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love the idea that George Orwell was like, one day this will be an allegory for Britney Spears.
Everyone around him was like, who's Britney Spears? You'll see.
He's like, one day.
So ahead of his time.
George Orwell wrote Toxic. We can't give a woman credit for any work she does. It's all George Orwell.
No, I think Britney is responsible for Toxic, but it was clearly influenced by 1984.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe George collaborated. Maybe he produced the track.
He came up with the beat. Yeah,
he was the shadow writer. Yeah, ghost writer. I can't. That's the word.
Shadow writer.
Shadow. I was like, it's not right. Fuck. Oh.
Love the idea of a shadow writer.
Yeah. Shadow writer. That's it. That's a nice word. Divya, I wanted to ask, like, sort of like in the vein of like weird subjects you're into as a child, is there any sort of hole you find yourself going into YouTube frequently? Like, what's the sort of weird end of the internet that you find yourself diving back into?
I don't know if it's so much weird. I do a lot of nostalgia YouTube wormholes. So I will like have my periods of time where it's just like for 12 hours straight, I'm looking at music videos from the late 90s and early 2000s.
That's nice.
I've also been like rewatching a lot of MST3K
shows. What is this?
Mystery Science Theater. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, I've never
Another
seen that.
reason me being a gifted kid was a sham, because I don't remember that shit either.
You have to watch their episode. They have a channel on YouTube, but there's also just like people post episodes online. Yeah. But it's so fantastic. So the premise is that this guy was like essentially kidnapped into space, and so now he's on this spaceship with two robots, and he's being tortured. And so every episode is him having to watch a terrible movie, and that's his like torture. And so it's him and these two robots riffing throughout the entire movie.
Whoa.
It's beautiful. It's hilarious.
Imagine pitching that to a studio. And just, that's what, anytime I hear like a weird idea, I think someone pitched that, or someone to at least to another person, they went, yeah, let's do this. I find that amazing.
You know who came up with the idea of the pitch meeting bit, I think didn't Jim Gaffigan like really popularize that with one of his early jokes? Yeah, I think so. Because no one really, the pitch meeting format was super new at one time. I think about that a lot with comedy, how like all jokes were once like so new and now hack, I guess. Like,
I do.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered like who actually wrote Why Did the Chicken Cross the Road? Like who actually did that?
And nowadays every comedian is saying it. I mean,
I know.
What is the original joke? I don't even know what.
Okay.
Like, serious? What's the answer? No, I know why did the chicken cross the road? Oh, it's to get to the other side. That's like the original one. Okay.
What did you think the answer was? Wait, I'm just so curious. What did you think why did you think the chicken crossed the road?
Yeah, probably, I guess, to get to the other side. No, but like, you know how that's like, that's like such a, like people always use that example and then there's so many variations of it. I couldn't remember, and now I can't think of those variations, but I couldn't even think back to like what the original answer is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's also a bit of a frustrating answer. It doesn't give you any information about the chicken's motives.
No.
But who would know?
It's not good for Meisner
motives?
Technique, this
who
chicken.
Who would know the chicken's motives? That's a good point. Who knows anyone's motives, really?
It is the most reasonable answer to that question.
Divya, just in general, what is your motive?
Yeah, what's your motive?
I would say it depends on what I'm, like the action, right?
Classic answer.
Nice.
But oftentimes I am trying to get to the other side.
Right.
Whoa.
Well,
I like the idea of this being like
metaphorically and literally
trying to get to the other side.
This is like a job interview. Like, name a time where you didn't get to the other side and why and how you helped fix it.
My greatest weakness is that I work too hard.
Right.
And
my greatest weakness, loyalty.
Yeah.
Perfection. Maybe. Sometimes
I'm just too detail oriented. I'm too detail oriented.
I'm a distraction in an office because I'm too hot.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if someone said that?
I can imagine you saying that, Gabby. I don't know why, but I could imagine you saying that.
If the context was appropriate, and I don't see when it would be, I would make the joke.
I could see you saying that and then immediately getting like promoted. Like you'd get hired and promoted.
Yeah, well, why do you think I'm unemployed now? Because I'm that kind of person. I once got in trouble. Too distracting. I got in trouble at work because we used to, like, my department used to plan parties for the office, and I said that we were gonna get a ton of beer and like the CEO walked by at the exact time that it happened, and I got pulled into a room and told that I could never say that again, and I was like, so I could say that, but just like not if this one guy walked by at the wrong time. Like, work sucks. I'm glad I'm not working right now. I'll just take the government's money for a long time and keep doing this podcast. Lucas, let's start a really lucrative Patreon.
Yeah. We will.
A tax deductible, lucrative fucking Patreon. Divya, what is your worst work experience that you can talk about right now?
No, tell the one you can't talk about and just do it. Just go for it.
What is the worst thing that you're under NDA not to say?
What is Mike Bloomberg holding you to?
Who is your conservator, so to speak?
Yeah. It was the time I was working in a nursing home during COVID under Cuomo's governorship. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have believed
He asked me to adjust his nipple rings and...
Cuomo?
Cuomo has nipple rings.
What?
He has nipple piercings.
Is this known fact?
Oh, there is a photo of him in a polo, and you can see very clearly what can only be described as the print of nipple piercings on both of them.
Gabby literally walked away.
I literally walked away. I cannot hear about Cuomo's nipples. But tell me, because I am morbidly curious.
No, I swear to God. Just Google Cuomo nipple piercings or just Cuomo nipple.
Not gonna Google that.
Yes, you are. You're gonna get it. It's gonna influence your ads by Google, but you're just gonna have to take the bullet. But yeah, Cuomo for sure. He's a freak, and we support him. That's it, basically.
But I don't see his nipple ring. I see a photo of him in a polo, and he could just have weird nipples. Basically, I see like a photo of his nipple like protruding through. Also, this article says Andrew Cuomo's office denied online speculation that he had nipple piercings, but professionals, who are these professionals, say body jewelry is becoming more common for white collar workers.
No, but okay, so the one that I'm looking at, it looks a lot like nipple piercings. Not like I didn't mean to say nipple rings, but like the bar. You know, the bar that goes through. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
We should post a photo on our Instagram and let the judge, jury, and executioner decide if Cuomo has a nipple piercing.
I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be very one-sided. It's gonna be
people. I'm seeing it's nipple tape, possibly.
Nipple tape. So like keeping them flatter than they otherwise would be. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. This is what one article, I mean, this is 30 seconds of research.
This man is supposed to be fixing New York. I don't care about his nipples. Why does he care about his nipples? I want
Gabby,
the vaccine.
We all have insecurities, all right?
And we all do things to make ourselves feel beautiful.
Yeah, you know what my insecurity is? I don't have the vaccine yet. Cuomo, get me the vaccine, and then you can have as many nipple piercings as you want. That is my fucking insecurity. Fuck you, Andrew Cuomo. Piercing your nipples instead of piercing our arms with the vaccine. Thank you. Anyway, we got way off track. I forgot what our original question was to you. You might remember.
I think we were talking about work.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, you were
so obviously we went to Cuomo's nipples.
This is the most unhinged the pod has been since last week. And then the week before and the week before.
Yeah.
I have so many terrible work experiences. I think one of the worst was, this was my first job out of college, and I was at a big company, and one of the higher ups like asked to have a meeting with me. And so I was really excited because I was like, oh, like maybe he wants to like hear my ideas, or, you know, this will be good for my career, whatever. So we like had a one-on-one and like just went for a walk around the campus. And so we have like a little bit of chit chat, and then he gets to like the main purpose of the conversation from his point, which was that it's going to sound, it's bad. It's going to initially sound worse than it is, but it's still bad. The main thing he wanted to talk about was that he was recently separated from his wife because she didn't want to have kids, and he really wanted to have kids. And so he wanted to talk to me because he wanted to know if I had any friends that were looking to get married and wanted kids. And like at this point I was like 23 maybe, and he was like 40, in his 40s, and asking like me if my friends like were looking to get married and have kids with him. And this was this was like our conversation. It was my only one-on-one conversation that I've had with him.
That is,
in a way, you did get to tell him your ideas. Just not about the company. Just like, I have an idea. You could date Sarah. You went to undergrad with me.
She's 22 and tons of fun and ready to be
and fertile. You better believe she's fertile.
She loves getting white girl wasted, but I'm sure she'd love to get wife wasted.
Wife girl wasted.
Wife girl wasted.
Oh my God. You should have put together like a bachelor like for him where you just got like, I have like 7 friends who will compete for your hand in marriage. Just film just to mate with this man.
Yeah. Here's a bunch of women that I don't consider my friends because I would never do this to my friends. But here's some candidates for you.
Here's a harem. If you've ever wanted a harem, you got it right here.
Wait, Divya, so did you say anything? I'm assuming you said, I'm so sorry, I'm not comfortable supplying someone.
I don't even think I said that. Like, I think I was just like, like, yeah, I can try to think of someone, but I was like, but I think like a lot of my friends like aren't thinking about marriage and aren't ready for that.
That's a very earnest answer. Yeah.
Are you thinking about marriage? What does it take to woo Divya?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Can we go? What were you talking about before? Drugs and sharks? Those are my
be a shark
topics.
into drugs.
Smoke weed as a shark, and then you will win my heart. I do like that a lot of your material is about the single life, but sometimes it's hard to believe because you're very beautiful. And
indeed,
although it is a pandemic, so it's easy to believe, because if you're not in a relationship now, you're basically single, because
But a lot of people have been dating. Lucas, have you been dating at all during the pandemic?
I did. I got into a relationship that ended last month.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
it was a happy thing.
It was the right thing to do. Yeah.
Now we got to get Lucas on Raya. We were talking about that with another guest, how we wanted to get.
Well, my friend,
a Riot Pass.
Zach. Do you know Zach Kandakji? Do you know him?
I don't actually.
It's okay. Anyway, so he just called me out of nowhere through an Instagram direct call, and it was him at his childhood home with his sister, and he was like, "Hey, Lucas, here's the plan. You get on Raya, and then you get me on Raya, and then we both get famous girlfriends." That was his plan. He said, and I was like, "Why don't you just go on like Bumble or Tinder or something?" He's like, "With the peasants?" No, he didn't say that, but I don't know. But for some, I don't remember his reasoning, but he was like, it has to be someone famous for him. It has to be like someone with clout, and like that he need a little extra zhuzh to his.
Okay, I'm so out of the scene. What is Raya? You have to explain this to me.
Raya is it's a dating app, but just for famous people.
Okay, so that makes sense that I haven't heard of it before.
And it's something that, but here's the thing: is that you have to get someone who's within the app, or someone who can get you on, who can sponsor you, who can basically be a letter of reference or something.
That's a funny way to put it.
Notarized letter of reference.
You have to go to the bank. You have to get it notarized. There's a special seal of approval that you need.
It's got to be a physical letter that you mail.
Cannot be e-signed. Wet signature only. To Raya.com. Honestly, some of these people on Raya
we don't accept PDF. Yeah.
Probably too stupid to convert a PDF, if I can be honest. It's mostly, from what I've heard from like friends who are on Raya, I had the opportunity to get on
Gabby. Who are your friends that are on Raya?
I know like one girl who's she's like a filmmaker's daughter, so she just like happened to get on Raya.
So you don't even have to like do something notable. You just have to be related to someone notable.
You just have to have either like a certain amount of followers, which Lucas, you do, so you could probably get on, or you have to be referred by someone.
I feel like Lucas in this moment just discovered the concept of nepotism. Like, yeah, it's like you just have to know someone who's famous. Yeah, that's a large part of it.
Yeah, I know that's a large part of life in general. For example, Ella Emhoff is on Raya. Who?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Ella Emhoff is on Raya.
I do not know this. I do not know this.
Oh, you'll know her name in a year, unfortunately. She's like the granddaughter, niece, someone of like Kamala Harris's husband's family. And she's the reason she's gotten like so big is because she is this kind of like, I don't want to say mean things. I don't know. She's like a little bit of a gangly looking girl who looks just like a Bushwick, like gentrifier. And she got a contract with IMG Models just like for being related to somebody kind of famous.
All right.
And so someone took a screenshot and like, for example, she's on Riot. You're not going to find like actual celebrities. I do think Pete Davidson was like reported to be on there, but other than that, like it's mostly just Instagram influencers and stuff.
I'm now want to try to get on Riot.
Do it, Lucas.
I still think You should, because Sylvia and I have been looking for a Riot Pass for a long time to just like passively scroll together because we want to. I want to know. I think it's all influencers and bullshit, but I still want to know. So if you get on there, you got to refer me.
I'm gonna try downloading it right now and seeing. But in the meantime, Divya, we're not getting away from it. Please say, what are things that a person can do or qualities a person can have that would woo you? What are those things?
I mean, I'm just looking for someone to have fun with, and not necessarily. I mean, like, yeah, in a sexy time way, but also in like to go. Now we can't do anything, but to like go out and do things. So like, I do like going to museums. I like, going to outdoor stuff, whatever that is anymore.
Right.
Parks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like events. I can't even think of events because we don't have them anymore. But this is like such a sad dating ad.
City MD tests, COVID vaccination sites. I want someone who will go outdoors with me. The grocery store.
The grocery store. The subway.
The dog park.
The subway, barely. If you can the subway, if we can't avoid it, obviously. A car.
Wait, Divya, that reminds me.
Car.
Who were some of your childhood crushes?
I had, my biggest crush was probably on Brad Pitt.
Nice.
That you have great taste. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And to also boost myself up more, I think it was like because of Fight Club.
Of course.
Which I think is a great reason to love Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I also had a huge crush on Jon Stewart, and
that's an interesting one.
Oh, I know people that are very attractive. He has amazing facial structure. He's incredibly smart. He's funny. He's got everything.
He's a bit of a silver fox.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it works for him 100%. Yeah. And I had like a rivalry with my friend because she also liked Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. And so we came to an agreement that I could have Jon Stewart and she could have Stephen Colbert.
Oh, thank goodness. You guys distributed them.
Good.
It's so funny the competitions that children have with each other. My friend and I, this is the most fucked up thing. When I was like in first grade, my friend and I used to have a competition over who could see the Twin Towers better from like
oh my God.
walking around the city.
This is heartbreaking.
I mean, in the end, we both lost. So.
Gabby.
Am I wrong? It's unfortunate. But that's great. I'm glad you got Jon Stewart in the end.
Yeah, although I did find at one point that she still had a picture of him in her locker. And
I'm sure you two are not friends anymore for that very reason.
Yeah, it ruined our friendship.
By the way, forgive me.
I objected at her wedding because of it.
Forgive me for interrupting, but I'm on Raya and I'm setting up. I'm
Lucas!
No. I didn't get approved. No.
But you're setting it up.
I'm just applying, and it says, and you have to specify what industry you're at. And it's under entertainment and culture. It has athletics, film, food, journalism, literature, music, philanthropy, television, theater, travel. And then, so which one would you say is most close to me? Because then it also has
comedy is its own thing.
Comedy isn't one of them.
They're like, comedy doesn't pay the bills. Let's be honest.
No, but here under business and tech, it has business, entrepreneur, government, media, medicine, science, technology.
I would say media for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with media. So done. And...
Nice. Oh, I'm so excited for you to apply. I think you might get on.
Maybe.
But do you think this is like there's humans reviewing and approving people?
I guess. All right. So for work and / occupation, I'm going to go comedian actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be so funny if robots were reviewing your profile.
I could see a way of automating this. If they ask for your social media, it could like.
Yeah. It asked. Well, it did ask for social media. So, all right. So add your referral. I don't have one, so I'm going to skip. And are you sure? Very few members have been admitted to Raya without this step. We strongly recommend listing at least one member, but I don't have one, so I'm submitting.
Gabby, who's your filmmaker's daughter's person?
Oh, it's my friend Maria, who I love. She's a great person, but she's on Raya and I'm not, so I'm obligated to hate her. Just kidding.
All right,
I adore her. We're writing a script together. Yay!
I've submitted my application.
Lucas is making moves. I'm so proud of you. Okay, is there anything else we want to ask Divya before we get into listener submissions? I have one question.
Yes.
Divya, since a lot of our guests are stand-ups, I feel obligated to ask, and also because I'm curious with you, like, what? I've never asked you, like, how you got into stand-up comedy and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't have, like, an origin story. I feel like some people have that, like they're, you know, they were bullied and it's like a Joker story, but no, I just
You're not the Joker?
I'm not the Joker.
I would love to see you play the Joker.
I think I could play him well, actually.
Oh, but you'd be so reasonable, which is like not how it's supposed to work.
No.
No, Divya's got a dark side.
I could be dark and unhinged.
I see it. I see it.
But I just feel like if you wouldn't go to, doesn't that guy just get a spot at like a club and then he bombs and he brings all of these people to see him? It's like a bringer, and he just like, he doesn't go to any open mics. He just goes right to like what, Dangerfields? That's the least realistic part of the Joker. Not the guy who flawlessly sang "Send in the Clowns," who is also a Wall Street bro. Not the like stupid kind of like bland commentary on class divisions. No, it was the fact that he went straight to Dangerfields or whatever without going to one open mic.
But Gabby, that's so many comics do that. They'll like do a bringer show without having done.
But also, if you think about it, like back then, there weren't as many places to do open mics. Like in like the early mid '80s, like there were only really comedy clubs, and that they would sometimes do open mics. So it kind of makes sense that they might have hosted an open mic there. There are also like comedy clubs that were around at that time that aren't around now, like Catch a Rising Star. And so I think it makes complete sense that he was there. Like, and it's also like after a show happens that he's brought up, and so yeah, I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay, Roger Ebert.
But I do love Gabby shaming the Joker, not for murdering people, but for not going to open mics.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like the murder, but I also think you have to pay your dues. You know what I mean?
Listeners, what we're trying to say is Gabby loves murder, but hates people who skip the open mic system.
We've always known I love murder. Anyone who listens to this podcast is like, Gabby, totally murderer vibes.
Yeah.
The morality around murder, much... What is that reference?
Oh no, but didn't you see that like Will Smith had for like his 50th birthday or whatever, he was like, I want to try stand up, and he does like a little show where he does 5 minutes. But he doesn't do any open mics, so I was like, Gabby would hate this dude.
But I feel like if you're Will Smith, you're allowed to do that. Yeah.
Will Smith is allowed.
And he's been a comedic actor.
Yeah. Will Smith is adorable. I love Will Smith. Will Smith, if you're listening, you're great. No qualms with you.
Come on the podcast. We know you're listening.
We know Will Smith is listening, and if not Will, maybe Willow. Maybe Willow should come on the podcast. Maybe Jaden. I don't know.
Jaden would be great on the podcast.
Or Trey, the other sibling.
There is not another sibling. Do not.
Yeah, there is.
Me this way.
No, from Will Smith's first marriage, he has another child called Trey.
Wait, this is so sad now.
You didn't know that?
You guys should invite Trey on the podcast.
Do you know there's a fourth Jonas brother?
I did not know that.
Frankie Jonas.
Oh my God.
Is this real? I've heard this as a bit, and now
it's like the Marx Brothers. There's a fourth one that's just like better than the rest.
No, it's real. Yeah, no, Karl Marx is the other Marx brother.
Oh my God.
I want to now do an episode. I feel like we always come up with like future episode ideas like during current ones. I want to now do one where we get the not famous children of famous families and interview them.
That would be amazing.
That is I know of one that I know peripherally, but I know him not to be a good person, and that. Oh. So yeah.
Well, we don't want to.
We don't want to have him on.
Is it Karl Marx?
It is Karl Marx.
Karl Marx failed to consider that he might be on this podcast one day. He should watch his words. We're way off topic. Divya, your non-Joker origin story.
Yeah, I just always loved comedy growing up. So like I grew up watching SNL and Mad TV and Comedy Central Presents, and just like doing skits with my friends, like for our middle school talent shows. My friends did, the first year we did an original sketch that we wrote, which was Steve Irwin hosting a beauty pageant.
Incredible.
It was great. And then we did...
That's a good idea, actually.
It was really funny. I mean, it probably wasn't, but at the time it was very funny, because we had like a bunch of like weird beauty pageant contestants, and then one contestant was a crocodile who won.
Oh, wow.
And then,
well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of my friends played the crocodile, so she just like slithered around.
Oh no, I was assuming you got a crocodile. That's what I was assuming.
Production budget was a little low at the time. 100%.
Yeah. We couldn't afford the handler, so.
Yeah. So wait, Divya, who were any specific comedians who were idols for you or really influenced your style?
I mean, I think my style has definitely changed. Like I remember at the time, like I remember watching like Jim Gaffigan's stand-up specials, and Dave Chappelle. Like I would say my favorite comedians now, like I still love, I know there's controversy, but I still love Dave Chappelle.
I know,
Maria
he's
Bamford.
My problematic fave. Oh, Maria, classic.
I love her. She's so special.
Wait, Maria, I didn't hear that.
Maria Bamford.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's so talented.
So beautiful and unique and hilarious. I love Norm Macdonald. I do love like Wendy Lieberman and like Rita Rudner and like those kind of like, it's a little bit more old school or like classic.
Right.
I would say probably like the one, this is like way too favorable on my behalf, but like I feel like I'm closest in style to maybe Bill Hicks, like that kind of like social commentary, but still silly and unhinged. I don't like, obviously I'm nowhere near that, but like I would say that's probably
I see
closer influence.
That's interesting because I don't see that. Because to be fair, I haven't seen that. No, but here's the thing. I haven't seen that much of Bill Hicks, but the couple times that I have seen him, he always seems very negative and like he's not really having fun on stage. Whereas the times that I've seen you do stand up, it seems like you're having fun. And that's a very attractive quality that I find in a comedian is when someone's having fun on stage. And so, but yeah, the fact that like you align with Bill Hicks, I find very interesting.
Well, I think it's like, I always feel weird like thinking about it and answering the question, because it's like, I have these comedians that I really admire and like kind of want to emulate, but I know like I'm so like I would love to say that Maria Bamford is an influence, but I also recognize that like my comedy is nowhere similar to hers. Like,
right.
It's just so different. But I think, there's aspects I think that you kind of aspire to and try to.
No, absolutely.
I have the same problem. Like my favorite comic ever is Doug Stanhope. I don't think I like Doug Stanhope at all. And then my second favorite comic is fucking Ana Fabrega, who's like on the opposite end of that like spectrum of like jokes. Like she's like more absurdist. So it's like, I think that I've always heard it as like, you take the art you love and the art you like, and you like hold that in your heart, but then you try and kind of make an opposite to that so that you're not being derivative. So I think that a lot of the times the comics people like the most are sometimes comics that they're not exactly like.
Interesting. I've also heard that like the advice of like, don't worry about, it's all about finding your own voice, but don't worry, like first you're just going to try to imitate people you want to be, and you're going to fail miserably at that, but then you're going to like through that you'll develop your own style.
That's a repeated process that I've seen like through different art forms, is the idea that like you first have to do the thing and then you have to learn to do the thing like you. That's a second task you have to tackle. is learning just what your own style is.
Do you guys feel like you've figured out your style?
No.
I
do think I've figured out a little, because I have this creepy system where I log all my jokes, and I do think I figured out how to change my style for the room, which was not a style I ever figured out before starting out in comedy. So that is what I'm working on. I don't know if it's useful to figure out a style for yourself when you're this early into the game like we are. It's like, how can you know how to brand yourself without making like hours and hours of material that you feel solid behind? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also still just helpful to, like, I don't feel like I've fully explored other styles yet. Yeah, and I think it is helpful to, like, it doesn't feel comfortable all the time, and it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but like I think it's worth trying different tones and different joke formats and all of that.
Yeah, I definitely I still say that I'm just like discovering my style, and that I definitely have some bits that I really love, and I think they're really, really solid. But I think of it as just like, all right, don't focus too much on the style, but think about just the things you want to talk about. And then like the way that will be told through whatever style is just going to naturally come out from whatever, it sounds cliche, but whatever is in your heart, and whatever you need to express is going to find its way out. And so in a sense, I'm just sort of letting nature take its course.
You're pooping out comedy. Yes. You're letting nature take its course. You're just shitting it out.
This is being so heartfelt. And
this is how it always is.
Yeah, it is.
I can't let him get away with being earnest. God forbid I can be earnest, but when I let Lucas get away with it, it just won't do, Divya. It won't do. Oh, okay.
I think that George Orwell just had a 1984 shaped butthole. That's just what it was. It just came out like that.
I think 1984 was all about butts.
Yeah.
That's about everything and nothing at once.
And the coral and the paperweight, butts.
Butts. Moby Dick, Moby Butt.
Yeah.
More like it.
It's all butts.
Okay. Let's get into the listener submission. Speaking of being earnest, Divya, on this segment, you can be as nice or as rude to the listeners as you want.
I really hope that Divya is just like, yo, you guys are fucking idiots. Just
get it together. Get it together, you moron.
I'm not gonna coddle anyone, so we'll see.
Good.
Okay, here's one that is, you know what? Actually, Lucas, should we warm her up, or should we go crazy right out of the gate?
I say we go crazy right out of the gate.
Okay, so I have the craziest one pulled up. Divya, on a recent episode, we did Would You Rathers. We did like a Would You Rather drinking game.
Mm-hmm.
So this person said, listening to the recent episode, I have a Would You Rather. Your mom and your girlfriend switch bodies. The only way to change them back is to have sex with one of them. Do you have sex with your girlfriend in your mom's body, or your mom in your girlfriend's body?
I think we played this one, didn't we?
Did we? No, I don't think so.
I feel like we did.
This is from I think they were talking about, they're talking about the most recent episode, because we were playing Would You Rather. So I don't know if we played this one. I am curious to hear Divya's answer, regardless of whether we played it or not.
Hold on. There are two incredibly wild things about this. One, the question is amazing, and there's a lot of creativity and perversion there. The second is that y'all don't remember if you've answered this question or not. Is crazy to me.
Well, I've definitely played that Would You Rather before with people. I've definitely heard that one, and we've done that.
Well, then what the fuck was your answer? Why don't I remember this if we played this?
No,
I feel like I would remember this. I have a bad memory, but
it might have not been on the podcast. But anyway, no, I think that I would go for. There's no good. I think I would probably go for my mom and my girlfriend's body, because the thing is, at some point, because then they'll switch back, and it's awful to say it, but at some point my mom will die, and that'll be probably sooner than my girlfriend, and then and then I won't have the memory of fucking my mom.
You probably still will. It's pretty traumatic.
She dies, the memory won't die.
I meant her body. That's what I meant.
Is there an option to just not switch them back? Here's why. Because I think both women are very important to me in my life, both my mom and my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I could just have them around and have sex with neither of them ever again. Well, I mean, I never would have sex with my mom anyway, but oh God, this question is this is why my mom stopped listening to the podcast.
You could have kept talking about having sex with her.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. My mom stopped listening after Chris Scher's episode forever. And she tried listening to one more episode and she was like, this is too dirty for me. And now I'm glad. At first I was a little bummed and now I'm glad. Thank fucking God.
I wouldn't even tell my mom that we did because we tried to get our moms on, but there was a scheduling issue. But
we tried to get our moms on the pod together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should still do that. That would be a great Mother's Day epised.
Ooh, that would be a good Mother's Day episode.
Divya, what about you? You didn't answer this question.
Oh yeah.
If you had
I was sourcing your options. I think Gabby, your approach was interesting. I feel like it depends how much I like this girlfriend. If my mom would
fucking hate her.
I'm kind of like, this is probably unethical, but if my mom like wanted to stay in a younger body, like, I don't know, like, and I didn't like the girlfriend that much, I might just be like, yeah, mom, live your new life.
You know what? Whoa. That's a really good point.
That's a really good idea. I've never thought, wow.
And then you just get a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, girlfriend, there's no ring, right? So
I love the idea of what happens to like this girlfriend who's just in an older body now and just
you just wait for her to go.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
She's dying 30 years sooner than expected. Yeah, it's her problem. Just
they probably didn't appreciate life anyway, so
yeah.
Okay, very solid analytical thinking on your part.
Yeah. Okay.
You got another one pulled up?
Yeah. So, I've never shit my pants, but I have an extreme fear of it. It's all-consuming, and I never get any rest from my debilitating fear of shitting myself. Any advice on how to get over this? Exposure therapy. Shit yourself. Get it over with. That's what I say.
Oh, I don't agree.
I'm so curious about the backstory. Is there a reason that the listener has this fear?
I definitely think this is a learned fear, that there's some sort of traumatic experience with maybe a friend shitting themselves or an authority figure shitting themselves, something that or maybe it says, okay, I've never shit my pants. So okay. This person, so it's someone, there has to be someone in this person's life that has shat their pants and it went horribly.
I mean, maybe not. I think, Lucas, actually, now you might be right, because you can't fear what you already know. So maybe if you just shit your pants.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done. You know, you can't just.
It's like stand up. You know, you just gotta get up there.
Well, if you just tell someone like, "Oh, you want to get over your greatest fear? Just do it." Like, they're not gonna be like, "Okay, didn't think of that before." Yeah.
And shitting yourself is a more difficult thing to do.
It is, yeah.
To willingly shit yourself.
I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's what needs to happen.
Exposure therapy is a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It does kind of remind me of how like I bled through my pants at Mission Impossible 3 when I was 13 and on my period, and now I wear like 3 pads to make sure it never happens again. But that's more like a personal experience story. So I don't know. I don't know what this Persian. I don't know what this Persian person should do.
Someone who has shat themselves. I mean, I was a kid, but I like full on shit myself, and then I like didn't tell anyone that I had done this.
Where was this?
I think it was like some after school program that I was at, and I was like 8 or younger than 8, like old enough to know how to poop by myself. but
as
not old
opposed
enough to have
assisted.
Well, like when you're a kid, I guess you'd be wearing diapers. I don't remember my childhood for all of these reasons.
When I was young, my mother shat for me.
But I remember, like, I didn't tell anyone, and so eventually the adults like found out and discovered this and called my mom to come get me, and she was just like, how did this happen? I was just like, I don't know. But I could imagine, like, so it wasn't a great experience then. It would be much worse as an adult, but
I thought you were about to say it would be much more positive today. It would go much
body
I'd have a great time.
I would enjoy it a lot more. Yeah, I don't think I've pooped myself as an adult. I've definitely peed myself as an adult. I peed myself at the Taco Bell Cantina in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Probably, it was when COVID was already in the country. It was February, but like no one knew about it. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever had COVID, but if I've given it to someone, it's because it's from the floor of the Taco Bell Cantina where I accidentally peed. So
what?
I'm not sure if I said this on the podcast, but I once peed during a baseball game. I was 8 years old, and I had to go. I was a shortstop, and I just peed in my pants, and it was itchy for an hour, but then it just dried, and no one came up to me. There was no issue made about it. There was nothing bad happened.
Do you think people noticed?
I don't remember anyone noticing. Maybe someone did, but I have no memory of it, and it didn't stick in my mind or anything at all.
They said
to this day, I think I made the right choice. I didn't stop the game. I didn't lose my place.
Everyone stop the game. I peed. Everyone shut up. I just peed myself. The pitcher's like, oh, hey, I think some kid peed himself up there in the stands. Can we go attend to this? I guess there's no resolution to this. I guess just either don't shit yourself or do, and just see how it makes you feel.
Do it with someone you love and you trust. That's
or
pooping with someone you
therapy.
Yeah, or go to therapy and talk about your issues. That works for most things.
But just know that all of us have pissed or shit ourselves at some point in our lives. So
all of us on this podcast, not everyone in the world. Most people in the world.
I assume most people in the world, actually.
Oh yeah, I would say most people.
Yeah, I was just trying to shame us. I think that's true. I think it's most people in the world. Okay, someone wrote in, I once had to play messenger for a grade-wide stalking scheme. Oh, I don't like this. I'm in an American high school, for a little context, and my sister had just dumped this guy. Let's call him D. I was best friends with someone who we're going to call N, who was also best friends with D. Now, high schoolers by nature are very dramatic. D paid N $50 to have my sister taken out for dumping him. Some more of D and N's friends are very popular, and soon pretty much the whole grade is against me, my sister, her boyfriend, her boyfriend, my boyfriend, and N's boyfriend. One day, N gets in trouble for having a pocket knife with him in school. The whole scheme gets revealed to the school security guards, and since I was friends with N, it was my job to receive texts from N about what he was telling to the security folks and relay that information to my sister. It was wild. Luckily, the whole thing is blown over and N has apologized. No one's heard from D since, but that's nothing I was involved in. Really? Because I feel like you just implicated yourself in maybe a murder? I can't.
Yeah, it's quite serious. That's a weapon. Like,
we probably should have read this before saying it on the podcast. Look, Two Nosy Meerkats does not condone murder, stalking, or having multiple boyfriends. I mean, I don't even know what the story's about, honestly.
Yeah, just all of those on a par of bad behavior. Just they're all equally bad.
We just don't condone it. It's bad.
Yeah, I swear, if you murder someone or if you date multiple people at the same time, you're a bad person.
if you're poly or a murderer.
Yeah.
Divya, what do you think of this?
Do your listeners, like, is this a comedy podcast? I'm so confused about.
It is, but like, I feel like So I think teenagers relate to a lot of the world through like comedy, and they genuinely want to hear our advice on things, so we give it to them. And then some people are older and write in. I don't want to say that all of our listeners are teenagers, because we were told last week that's very much not true, which is great. Yeah, no, people really, our guest 2 weeks ago was Bo Ballou, and he was like, people are really bearing their whole souls to you guys.
Yeah.
So, but keep doing it, everyone. Just don't admit to like maybe murder. I don't think this was murder, but like the existence of a pocket knife and then stalking and then taking somebody out. Also, if someone doesn't want to be your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever friend anymore, don't take them out. Just like go to therapy and get over it, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of good that therapy can do.
We're just advocating for therapy.
Yeah, just every answer is therapy. Yeah.
Woo, I feel like 30 pounds heavier from that. Holy
well,
shit.
that leads us into another listener submission.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, so all right, so this is the
great
submission.
Segue.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's an amazing segue. Okay, so I kind of hate myself for having this, but I have a fat kink. Context, I'm a, in all caps, stick. I'm a stick and I don't like it. I envy people who are generally bigger than me and I want to be like them. However, I'm afraid that either one, I'll never achieve the weight gain that I want because my metabolism is ridiculously fast, or two, if I do succeed by a miracle, I could have health complications. Also, in relationships, I don't want to objectify my potential partner because of this being a fat kink. Again, I wish I could get rid of it. What do I do? There's two things going on. There's one, this person wants to become fat or just put on more weight. And yeah, Gabby, weigh in, please.
I kind of think the person weigh in. Oh no.
Oh.
I think this person is just saying that so that they don't sound bad for having a fetish. I also don't think it's a fetish. I think maybe you're just attracted to bigger people.
It doesn't sound like a fetish or a kink. It just sounds like a preference or just maybe a thing you find attractive in people.
Told them that like this is a kink or something, but I feel like it's not. If you like bigger people, so be it. Yeah. Just don't call it a kink. Like it's the same thing as like if you date a lot of like people with freckles in a row, you don't have a freckle fetish. You're not like for like looking up like freckle porn, although I don't know, maybe you are.
There probably is.
I mean, if you are, that's also fine. It doesn't qualify as a fetish. I feel like a fetish, Divya, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like a fetish is like something more unusual than just body type, right?
I don't think it has to. I mean, I don't know why you deferred to me like I'm the expert on this, but
I defer to you because you're
sex
the
queen.
I defer to you because you're the guest.
I did look up the definition of what a fetish is. It's a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing, part of the body, etc. So
I don't think the subject of the fetish has to be abnormal. I think it's like the compulsion, I guess, or the amount of desire triggered by that subject. So you could have a fetish for a certain body size, but I think to both of your points, that doesn't mean that because you have this preference that it's automatically a fetish. And the listener seems to have like a great degree of self-awareness, which sounds very nice. Yeah. So I think the fact that they're being conscious and don't want to like objectify people and want to make sure they're being respectful, I think that's the key. Like as long as you're allowed to have your preferences and as long as you're still ultimately seeing them as another human being that is deserving of your respect and compassion, then
and there might be someone out there who like is really into their body and loves the way that it loves their curves, whatever, or fat, or whatever you like to describe it. But like you might find someone who's just like as into their body as you're into their body, and you might link up perfectly, and you might just be able to have a really fun, open sexual dialogue. And so just be kind and honest to yourself, and don't hurt people. And that's all that there is to it.
Yeah, I also just don't think you need to shame yourself for liking who you like. You also, I don't know, it's like, I feel like people are so insecure about like not being considered societally right that they'll like, you know, overcompensate the other way by being like, listen, like I wish I could be fat. It's like, well, I don't know what if you actually want to put on more weight, then put on more weight by all means, or try to. But if you're saying that because you think like someone will be mad at you for being like, I'm a stick, I mean, who cares? Like, I'm not a stick. I don't give a shit if someone's a stick.
I would think, I guess my assumption wouldn't be that like this is like I need to be on the right side of like body positivity or what. Like, I think it's just that like we've all, like so much shame has been imposed on us for like, regardless of what your body type is.
Yes.
We've been shamed about it. So I think like there's fat shaming, and there's also a lot of shaming around people who are thin as well. So I could see this being a response to that as well.
Yeah, and then everyone on Twitter gets mad at each other either way. So it doesn't even like, it's like people like get mad at thin people, and then thin people get mad at fat people. It's just so insipid. Just like be you and treat people like normal people. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That was productive.
And also, if you're worried, and this person said that they wanted to like put on more weight, but they're worried that they might not be able to, but if they are able to, that they might injure health complications. If you are, well, first off, I would say go to a doctor, find out if you are at a healthy weight, if you may be deficient in some mineral, or if you're like, if you're really underweight, like, and come up with a plan to like put on weight in a healthy way. Or if you want to put on a little more, like be in touch with health professionals at every step of the way, and to talk about what is healthy and sustainable for you.
This is why sometimes people call Lucas Dr. Meerkat, and I agree. It's Dr. Lucas. And you know what? Yeah, I think that that's actually really accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, so productive. I feel like we helped someone. That was such a mood uplifter from I possibly let a murder happen at my school.
Yeah, guys, message us with more kinks. This is a smile-inducing subject.
Not kinks, just like zero murder, unless like
zero murder.
If you heard about like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna draw a line in the sand. If you like heard about a murder in your town or something, and like you want us to solve the mystery of this murder, we will. But like, don't confess to a murder on the podcast, because we then become accomplices, and that's bad.
Yeah, Gabby and Lucas are tired of having to condemn all of your murdering behavior. Please. They can't take it anymore.
Guys, we can't come out to bury a body with you again, okay? We can't do that. Just to be fair, if the authorities are listening, that was a joke. We've never buried bodies. We don't own shovels. But yeah, that
I cannot not condone murder enough. There's like no words that I could ever say to like show the authorities that I hate murder. I feel like I'd be
some say it's the worst thing you can do to a person.
I feel like I'd be a funny like witness on the stand, like, listen, I hate murder. Like, I hate murder as much as the next guy.
I don't mean to go out on a limb here, but murder's bad.
Cancel me for it if you must. Okay, we'll do one last one, and then self-perception corner. Okay.
Yeah.
This just says ferrets had a dream. Ferrets were in my bedspread, and the fear transferred over to real life. So this person's just afraid of ferrets because they had a dream about ferrets, and that's it. At least there's no murder. There's no murder in this one. We're okay.
Say what you want. There is no murder in this one.
Say what you want about ferrets, but there's no murder.
The thing is, bedspread is such a vague term. I don't know if it's like under the cover, within the duvet.
Is that what you're zeroing in on, Lucas?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm zeroing.
This is what we were talking about at the beginning. This is why we were talking about like what cheese you'd want to sleep in, because I don't know why. Oh, because Lucas thought of spread.
Yeah.
I don't know what a ferret looks like off top.
They're super cute.
They're
like
ferrets, yeah. Weasels. They're like weasels.
I had a ferret as a kid.
Really?
Did you
No way.
Yeah. His name was Bix. He was super cute.
Oh.
He would suck on our finger, and then if you let him go, he would like run, not in a Gabby, don't give me that face. He would run back and forth behind the couch, and you'd have to like catch him to get him back. He was so super cute. Yeah, they're super cute.
Oh.
Was this kind of what yours looked like?
I think they're the
Yeah.
I think they're the third most popular pet in the US after
Really?
dogs and cats. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
ferrets.
I love ferrets. I
I'm
wonder
pretty sure I saw that somewhere.
I follow a lot of cat Instagram accounts, and I feel like I would now like to follow a bunch of ferret Instagram accounts.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch. No shortage.
I think it would get my Instagram Explore page back to a place where it's not just The Bachelor. Oh, I found one right now. Fergus the ferret. Oh, and it's cute. It looks like a cat. Oh no, that is actually a cat in the photos.
But it's called Fergus the ferret?
This is Fergus the ferret. Okay. So he looks like a
Ooh,
little
that is a
an
ferret.
albino ferret?
But on this page, they added this photo who's of like a cat in their household.
That is a cat.
I was confused. I was like, ferrets look so much like cats. Oh, wait a minute.
Gabby, this whole time you've been following ferret Instagram pages and you didn't even know.
I didn't even know I was such a ferret stan. I like that you had one as a pet. That's a really cute detail. What happened to, I mean, I know what happened to it, but
The ferret
how did
Instagrams
it
were in
happen?
front of you the whole time.
So my mom had gotten him for us without the approval of my dad. So my dad was not a fan. And so I think my mom just like eventually returned him to a pet store or rehomed him. But what she told us was that she took him to a zoo and then he was like, so he's going to be happy running around with all his ferret friends. And I believed that until I was 18 years old, when I thought about it and realized that's probably not what happened to
you were like,
ferret.
no, my mom probably killed him on the spot.
Well, if she did, then she doesn't get to keep my girlfriend's body. So
no thanks, I will not put you in a younger body, not if you kill a ferret. That's so cute. That I hope your ferret went to a zoo. I'm sure it's not what happened, but I hope that is what happened.
The ferret went to the zoo. I'm just gonna put this is where I'm gonna make my stand. The ferret went to the zoo.
So circling back, if you're afraid of ferrets, just think of them all at the zoo hanging out with their little ferret friends and think of how cute they are on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you'll be fine.
Okay. And so coming towards to the end of the podcast, Divya, would you please say how you think people perceive you, and then we will tell you how we perceive you.
That's so interesting.
We call it self-perception corner. We do it every episode. We're not singling you out.
No, you're cornering me. I get it.
I'm putting you in a corner.
No one puts baby in a corner. Who else has another corner pun?
Kitty has a corner. Maybe that's just an improv game.
What is that?
Oh no, that's Kitty wants a quarter. Oh my god! I never said I was the brightest bulb. Never claimed it.
Okay, Divya.
I think so. I'll answer how I think you two perceive me.
Sure. Okay, and then tell us about everyone else too.
I think I would say you perceive me as someone who's genuinely nice and caring, and supportive and hopefully funny and smart and kind of put together.
Yeah, pretty on the nose.
Are we wrong?
I mean, I don't know you as personally, but from the times that I've seen you do stand up, especially on Zoom, some Zoom shows, and definitely at Hathaway Presents, is that your premises are always extremely clear and well written and very efficiently said. So I always remembered you because I thought, oh, she's a good writer. This is a smart, someone who spends time and is very careful with her words. And I always enjoyed, I just always enjoyed watching it.
That's so nice. I do really love writing. Like, I love the process.
It shows. It definitely shows.
It does show. How do you think, before I get into it, how do you think everyone else perceives you who like isn't us?
I think it just depends on like the context, because I'm not necessarily the same person or always to like the same extent with everyone, which I think is natural. So I'm sure there's people that think I'm just like really quiet and maybe like, I don't know, like maybe dull or like personality-less, because I'm just like, I'm not necessarily, especially in large groups of people, I'm not necessarily like super outgoing, or I don't try to talk over people. So if a lot of people are like burr, 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 at each other, like I'm not necessarily going to like try to insert myself in that situation. So I could see people like just being like, oh, I didn't really like, I don't know.
Do you think people would be surprised to learn you do stand-up?
People are always surprised to learn I do stand-up. Yeah. Because of that, I think. Like, I am an introverted person, and I think I, in a lot of cases, probably come off as shy or quiet. So people are always surprised that I do it.
Nice. I was definitely kind of intimidated by you at first. I thought you were really cool. I definitely thought initially, and still think now, like you're very observant. Like you don't just kind of like putz through the world, you know. You're very like methodical, and I've always thought your jokes were really smart and really polished. You always have a solid set. I feel like I haven't seen you bomb very often.
Yeah, nor have I.
I mean, I'm sure you have, because everyone has, but I haven't like personally seen it. So, and then also in terms of just like your personality, yeah, I can see you being like maybe introverted at first, but when you pick people you like really like them. And I don't know, I think you're kind of a mystery still, but I think that you're a great person. And yeah, definitely, your analysis of what like I think of you is certainly very on the nose. Like I think you're definitely caring and nice and genuine and super funny.
Divya is the new Austin Powers. She's the international person of mystery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Throwback. You guys, those were such kind comments. Can I tell a really quick story of when Gabby was super drunk at her birthday party?
No. Yeah, of course. Please go ahead. Please, yeah.
Gabby was absolutely obliterated, and and I think like people were doing like stand-up sets, and they were roasting Gabby, and then Gabby was doing her own set.
I don't even remember any of this.
No, you wouldn't have. But you said to me, at one point you said to me, you were like,
I'm scared.
No, it wasn't anything bad, but it was just like pointed. You were just like, Divya, like, and I hope I make you proud, or like I just want to make you proud, or something like that.
Mommy. Mommy Divya, I make you proud. Oh my god. Yeah, I vaguely remember roasting. It was like a dark basement, and I just took the mic and like roasted everyone. There was a lot of alcohol that night. There was like all different combinations, which I think is always the killer. Not great, but that is a funny story.
That's awesome.
I feel like Divya see me drunk a couple of times, and there was like a couple times at the producers club, because why not? It's easy to get drunk at the producers club. There's nothing else to do. And,
yeah.
So yeah, but I'm glad you remember that. I'm glad that's your association.
Well, it's just like such a weird thing to hear.
Wait,
like,
was the party at the producers club,
Gabby.
or was it somewhere else?
No, it was at my friend's house, my birthday
I see.
party.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, but I think I said that because I had always wondered if you liked me or not. And then you came to my birthday party, so
of course
clearly you did.
Oh,
of course.
I wanted to invite you because I was like, maybe Divya does like me, and maybe I'll see if she wants to come hang out.
Why didn't you think I liked you?
Because you were so cool to me. Because I thought you were like, you know, you hosted the Phoenix mics, and I was just getting started, and like I bombed a couple times in front of you, and I was just like, I don't know, because Divya is so advanced comparatively.
I love that that's my credit is hosting the Phoenix mics. I do miss those mics.
Oh,
but we bonded at Caravan of Dreams, where we were both at that mic. And
yes.
It was its usual beautiful mess, and we were the only people laughing at anything.
For listeners who don't know, Caravan of Dreams, imagine a windowless room, bunch of men, and then me and Divya. And that's Caravan of Dreams. And Divya and I bonded there. That was a lot of fun.
It was a beautiful moment. Lucas, we still need our bonding moment.
We do. We'll have it when we can. Once enough people get vaccinated, we'll have our moment where we both get sloshed. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so fun. Lucas and I were talking about how we can't wait to like record in person with people.
Yeah.
Once that's available to us. We started the podcast in quarantine.
Yeah.
Which is, other than COVID-19, the most infectious disease is podcasts.
Gabby, if you didn't get up to go to the bathroom so many times, I wouldn't know what you looked like from the waist down. I wouldn't remember. Just
This is the second episode in a row out of like a streak of 5 where I didn't get up to pee the whole time. Bravo to me. Thank you to Divya. Is there anything you want listeners to know about that you're doing?
Yes, please. Any social media, any shows, anything at all?
I mean, I would just say just follow me on Insta at Divya_undone. And Lucas and Gabby, I'm trying to join you on TikTok. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm not really on TikTok, but you should join TikTok. It's if you can video edit like Francis Ford Coppola or something, it's a really great app.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'm glad it's such a low barrier to entry then.
Oh my God. This was a really fun episode.
This is really lovely. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all.
I wanted to make one more announcement, by the way. Thank you to everyone in New Zealand, because I got an email 3 days ago that we are the 201st most popular comedy podcast in New Zealand.
Hey, we made it to the top 300.
Thank you, Lord, for getting us there. And by that, I mean both the God above and Lord, the New Zealand singer. Yeah. And thank you, New Zealand. And thank you, Divya.
Yes. And also, I actually have a show to plug. On February 18th, I will be doing a show with Penthouse Comedy that's going to be in Eastville Comedy Club, I believe. Ooh. And that'll be, so February 18th, details on my website, lucastiarnold.com. And so, yeah.
Bye, New Zealand.
Bye, New Zealand.